advise that if you're looking to come to the US in fall 2025, that's next. Hi, beautiful people, Irene here, and from our last video, we had talked about writing a statement of purpose for grad school, and I had shared some tips and things that you needed to do to write it. But today, I want us to focus on staying motivated to write a statement of purpose, because in my experience, it was very hard for me also to work on it based on the timelines that I had to work with in order to submit my applications. And so writing it was very, very hard for me. I realized it was more harder because I was also working at that point. And so anytime I go to work, I find it hard to work on it. And when I come back home too, I find it hard to work on it because I was tired and then I was not motivated to do that. And so to be sharing with you, keep you motivated to be able to write your statement of purpose. Remember, your statement of purpose is the most important thing that you need during your application to grad school. So you need to put in a lot of work, and you might want to put in your best so that you can be able to get the results that you want. Very later into the year, you want to start early. That's why I advise people to start early. That way they can have some time to break down tasks and work on in little bits so that they will be able to get the results that they require. So if you're looking to come to school in fall 2025, I think that now is the time that you should be working on your documents, your statements of purpose, and things like that. And it's very important to note that here in the US, we have different semesters, and these types of semesters help us get more funding for international students. And so there are some admission types that are rolling, and when I say rolling, I mean that some universities are constantly admitting people, and so they don't have a specific time to admit people. And some universities also wait more towards a certain time in the semester. So we have the fall and the spring semester to do applications. Most international students in the fall semester, because that's when they have set aside some budgets and some money to be able to fund their education. Remember, most of the time these types of fundings come from the department and not the university, and I would explain that in subsequent videos that I will make. And so you want to make sure that you are have enough time to work on your documents. Remember, there's also a part that is required in the process, and so going to the embassy to be interviewed and things like that require that you set aside some time. And so I would, at next year, you should be able to start working on your documents now. Again, you have to check with the school their requirements and when they need people to come in, and also the type of admissions that they have. So if it's rolling, if it's based on the spring semester, it's based on the fall semester, you know when to start working on your document. So the first thing that I talked about is to create a schedule. So you want to set specific times for working on your statements of purpose. And so you can decide to do it every day. You can decide to do it at specific times. So every day of the week, or time that you feel like you can have the inspiration and the motivation to write and work on it. So remember that you have to set time aside to be able to do that. And then you need to be consistent with gaining momentum so that you can prevent procrastination. I suffer a lot from procrastination. I usually tend to put things away and do them when I want to, which I have realized is not the best for me, because at the end of the day, when I'm in a rush to do something, I don't put in my best effort, and so it results in me presenting something that is less of what I can actually do. So you might want to set some time aside, and also you might want to find inspiration. Finding inspiration means that you might want to go onto the internet and go and search for some samples of statements of purpose that are related to your field of study in order for you to use those. So find inspiration from other people's work. If you know someone who's already here and the person is in school, you can ask if the person can share their S.O.Ps with you. And remember, if people share their S.O.Ps with you, you don't have to write exactly what they're writing, but just look at the trends and how they have structured things, and also make sure you put some things in place. Don't write exactly what they're writing, because remember, their programs might be different from yours, and also their goals might be different from yours. So find inspiration, and then you want to break it down. So break it down in a sense that, just like in my previous video, I had shared that you have to have an outline, and so the outline would help you break it down. And so if this weekend or today or this week or this month you're working on the introduction part, you can focus on that. If you're working on the body conclusion, you can focus on these different parts and break that down. That way you're not feeling overwhelmed that you have maybe just 2 hours to sit down and write everything and things like that. Again, it depends on individuals' writing style and the person's ability and things like that. So you want to weigh the kind of person that you are and what writing style or writing skill works for you. So again, this is very helpful because if you're coming into grad school, there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, especially if you're into the humanities and you're into disciplines that require you to be writing a lot. You want to break tasks down and make sure that you're doing what you can do, and that way you're not getting burnt out and you're not giving off something that would not be the best. Also, you want to make sure that you stay positive. So sometimes it's very hard to do some things. You might need to have some kind of positive motivation that you need, and so make sure that you're staying positive and make sure that the reason why you're pursuing this is like the top of the list. And so because I want this is enough positivity or enough motivation for you to be able to focus on your SOP and work on it. So yeah, make sure that you stay positive, and also make sure that you celebrate your progress. It's not easy to be working on something like this, and so acknowledge and celebrate your progress and every milestone that you achieve whilst you're writing it. And also finally, the last thing you might want to do is to pass it on after you're done writing it to somebody to review for you, just to see if everything that you have is something that, especially if the person is already here, if it's something that's good, and if it's something that would be helpful. So if the person has any feedback, they can be able to give you feedback. So you can do this with your mentors, your peers, your friends, and things like that, so that they can offer you feedback so you know where you need to improve on and things. Where your statement of purpose kind of puts you into the position of being the best candidate to be granted the admission, and so you want to make sure that you're putting in the best efforts and things like that. And after you're done writing it, make sure that you format it well, you proofread to make sure that all errors and mistakes have been corrected, and then you move on to the next thing that you need to work on. So this is all that I have to share with you today. I hope you learned something from it, and I know it's not easy, but I want you to make sure that you visualize that at the end of the day, this is going to yield good results. And so that's all I have to share with you today. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to come your way again with another tip. So thank you for watching, and